Hey everybody, what the flick? Gotham, next to last episode of season 1, The Hammer and the Anvil, William Bibbiani, Alonso Duralde. Dark! Boy, this show is dark for an 8 o'clock show.
It is a little morbid. Yeah, kids like Batman, right? Like, I don't understand. Like, you watch The Flash, and The Flash will be kind of messed up, but at the same time, it's still colorful and fun.
Sure.
And then you get something like Gotham, which is just... I mean, it went to like funny games territory this week. It's just like,
Yes.
It got really gross and weird. So in this week, the story of the Ogre concludes, for now, with Barbara Gordon basically saying, yeah, screw it, kill my parents. Fine. Better them than me, honestly. Like
We weren't close.
No, right? Like you said, I will kill anyone you want, and she chooses her. She could have picked literally anyone.
Surely there was some sorority sister who was like,
he could have picked Kim Jong-un, for God's sake, and instead she picked her parents, and they die rather. I don't know. Like, it's such a sad death. I think one of the saddest deaths I've ever seen in TV was sort of similar to this. Was in an episode of Alias, where someone like found out his daughter was like hired to assassinate him, his own daughter,
right.
And then but she can't bring herself to do it, and then the mom comes in and she says, he thinks he's about to be saved, but instead she shoots him.
No.
And I'm like, that's the last thing you ever saw was like your family killing you.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? Like, they were douches, but they didn't deserve this. They deserved at the very least a quicker death, I feel.
I am still not super into the Ogre as a function of this show.
Why is that? I mean, he's just another serial killer. Why is that a problem?
Because this doesn't feel like a serial killer show. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying they all have to be like wacky, Batman type villains, but in a world where you've got dueling mobster families and you've got, Fish Mooney and you've got like a certain level of recognizable crime in a detective show context, a serial killer, it seems like a different, like that's Sexy Victims Unit. It's not this show.
I don't know. Like, for me, I look at most Batman villains, and what I really see are serial killers with gimmicks. There's a lot of them that are basically serial. The Joker is a serial killer with a gimmick. The Riddler is not. I mean, even when he's not killing people, they're all just maniacs with gimmicks.
I guess.
So this one I thought was fine. It was a way to finally do something with Barbara, who's been sort of languishing on the sidelines for like 10 episodes.
I will give you that. This is they finally given her something to play here.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I was frankly much more interested in seeing how the Cobblepot schemes was going to go.
Yes.
Because that was pretty ingenious, I have to say.
They've been building it up sort of straightforward. Cobblepot is going to, he's going to make sure he knows that Sal Maroni is in one place and he's going to kill Sal Maroni. Fine, Bob's your uncle. And then he just twists it around, and it's not even the biggest, most clever idea ever, but it was something that they hadn't told us he was going to do, and it reminded me that my favorite stuff on the show is always Oswald Cobblepot just screwing with everybody.
Yeah.
Just throwing monkey wrenches into the plan, often without even having a real sense of what the consequences will be, and somehow coming out on top. That is great storytelling. Yeah. I always love that, so I'm very excited about it.
I'm into that. I'm into Edward Nigma and his body disposal issues.
Yes, and very cute.
And you and Francis at one point sort of touched upon this, that the idea of him becoming a killer who can cover his own tracks by virtue of the fact that he's inside GCPD.
It's a very cool idea for a villain.
It's a very cool idea, and I really hope they explore that, because just from this, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot, as this guy who's kind of a mole within the law, there's some really interesting places they could take.
Well, and we saw that when he gave his note to Miss Kringle, it even had his own name on it.
Right, yeah.
Like, he couldn't resist, and that will eventually be his undoing. And see, the Riddler is actually my favorite Batman villain. He always has been. And honestly, it's because there's this guy who is so intelligent, but he is there's something sort of pathological about his honesty. Like, he cannot lie. He will tell you everything, but he has to obfuscate it.
Sure.
And there's something very sad about that, because you get the impression he probably would get away with everything
if he weren't so compulsive about revealing things or taunting the police.
With proving his own intelligence.
Sure,
like, I can do this in right in front of you and you'll never know. And yeah, it's exciting to see, and especially because with only one episode left this season, I would be very surprised and honestly very disappointed if the Riddler was caught next week.
Oh, I hope not.
Wouldn't that suck? No, that would be such a lame thing. Like, I want to see him active and really a thorn in everyone's side without them knowing it for like a season. You can milk it.
Let them play that out.
You could totally milk it, and I would love it.
Bruce Wayne, still don't care.
I thought they went in a fair direction this week.
It is the idea of that there's this family tradition of, you know, the Wayne Corp thinking that they're playing along, and obviously Lucius Fox saying no, they're not.
Yeah.
You know, which ties into the whole like, oh, bald millionaire playboy Bruce Wayne, you know, not paying attention to things and being Batman. You know, that's an interesting dichotomy that can be played with. But, you know, could we get him to 19 at least?
We have to get to the end of the season. Who knows what happens?
This Moppet taking the tour of the facilities and pulling the fire on.
I love the, like, don't forget your cookie. And he's just like, I'll take the goddamn cookie. I am hungry. I am a growing boy.
Give him some wings.
Hypoglycemic. No, but what I liked about it was the sense that, you know, Bruce went in expecting to find this, you know, big file of stuff.
Yes.
You know, like this big thing that just
Do
says
not read.
classified and like big words. And instead, what he finds is that, we're corrupt, like every corporation ever. We're not even special.
Welcome to the working week.
And your dad knew about it because there's absolutely it's like the government. You know, there's no way you get to control that much without having skeletons in your closet, without having to skirt something in order to get the job done. There was something sort of refreshingly anticlimactic about that, where he finds out that corruption isn't like some boogeyman it's not Ra's al Ghul who's gonna like come in.
It's just a matter of course.
It's just a matter of course. Like, we skirt laws and like literally everything we do. We're trying to be a business.
There's almost, I would say, I'm going to go out and I'm not the first person to point this out, but there's probably like no fortune that exists in the world that somewhere along the line doesn't have blood on it.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying that's good. Obviously, that's terrible. If anything, it's the worst kind of evil. That's sort of casual evil that no one questions.
The banality of evil.
The banality of evil. But confronting Bruce with that was actually, I thought, a very effective scene. I actually thought that was nicely handled. I liked that subplot this week for that reason.
And I will give you that. it's the character that I just can't get behind. And of course Lucius Fox as this week's Easter egg. You know.
Yeah. He'll be important later.
Yes.
We got that one guy whose face you recognize, who I think was he in X-Men First Class? I know I've seen him. Was he in House? I don't even.
You're right. I know the face. And I should look that up,
it's one of those character actors.
I just do love the. Have you met our new junior executive, Lucius Fox? Like, we get it, show. Calm down.
I'm trying to think. Are we forgetting anything on this episode? Someone's already typing up a YouTube comment. What about Blank?
Gordon and the Doctor. I liked their sort of their contretemps and resolution.
They're so cute.
Nice. They are, and she gets it, and you know they're well matched.
They are, and normally I would say like, well, someone's going to die, but it's Leslie Tompkins. She's important, so something else is going to keep them apart at some point, I guess. But I think they're great.
Primetime whorehouse.
Oh yes,
we forgot about primetime whorehouse.
Oh, and really creepy primetime.
Yes.
What did you hear? Like, what was it? Like a pig and a chainsaw?
Yeah, I was watching it with the titles on. I was like, what? I have to say that for an 8 o'clock show, that was
There was actually some really kinky stuff going on. Yeah,
it was not just like ladies in lingerie. They were pushing the envelope there, and that was pretty solid. I admired their efforts to make that a little crazier than it might have been otherwise.
Well done. I like that she was like, I could only see 4 letters on the sign, OIAL.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so many words. It's like 2. There's like 2 words that ended.
And there's only so many neon signs in Gotham. Like, it might have occurred to her. Yeah, she was like Madam Handy Exposition on that one. It's like, might as well give them an address and the passcode to get in the building while they're
I remember there was an episode of The Wire where they found a dead body and it just said, Steve killed me. And like, it was a joke from the other homicide detective. It's like, no, look at his other hand. It's the guy's phone number. Good times.
Oh, so one last Gotham next week, and then we're off for the summer, but we hope you'll join us for that one.